Every dog is going to be different. Keep that in mind. Okay. So every dog's normal, their tail will be at a different spot. So, but let's just look at some overall tail stuff. Okay. So in this video, we have a dog who's, always looking at the base of their tail, not looking at the tip of their tail. I'm looking at the base where it connects to their butt. Okay. So here it is loose and lowered. Let's just pause it for a second here. You can kind of see it there. It's not like the best angle, but he's got a very loose and wiggly butt. And then his tail base is on the lower side. I would say neutral to low. So what that means is maybe let's be friends, if you want to. We don't have to, it's fine. We don't, just that very anxious sort of energy to them. But affiliative, right? They're friendly. And affiliative means like they're looking to hopefully make friends, right? They're looking to have an affiliation with you. So what we're looking for is that loose body or loose butt at the very least, loose hind end, which is attached to the tail, right? So we want loose muscles all in that section. And then my hope is that the tail is at a neutral spot or maybe a little bit lower. Okay, the lower it gets, the more anxious they might be feeling. And that the closer to neutral it is, they're probably feeling neutral, relatively like not too anxious. So it's a continuum. Okay, and then for Riley Bagel here, we've got a loose but slightly raised, it's not overly raised, but slightly raised tail base here, which says that I'm feeling pretty good about what's going on here. Okay, play this one. Okay, so he's got a little, and then see how it lowers right afterwards? I think that's just because what was going on the side of giving him a treat, I think it was over at that point. So I think he got really excited for the food and the chicken, and then he lost it for a second. And then he got excited again, and then he lost it again. So watch this a few more times. But see that like little wiggle in his butt? That's a good thing. That means that he's feeling pretty good. And he's got a nice big wag to go along with it. Okay. And then if the tail is on the stiff side and a little bit lowered, so again, neutral to low. So we're looking at like 4 quadrants, which I'll show you again in a second. But now we're back to that neutral to low tail and on the more stiff side. So his butt's not going to be wiggling too much. It's just kind of his tail going back and forth. That usually will mean I'm feeling worried about this and need some space. Okay, so he's engaged with what's going on because he's wagging his tail. He's willing to interact, but he's feeling a little anxious about it. Okay, so I'll watch this a few times. Okay, so see how there's no butt wiggling here. It's only the tail, like a flag going back and forth. Okay. And in this case, you can also see some hackles raised. And this is Leo and Daisy, and Leo has a toy, and he was trying to play keep away a little bit, but I think got a little intense for a minute. Okay, so again, on the lower side, and then just a flag back and forth. Okay, and then the last one, a raised tail and then stiff. Okay, so again, assertive, he's feeling engaged, he's feeling assertive in confident, I guess would be a good word in this case. And with his tail being stiff, he's saying like, I'm engaged with what's about to happen. I'm willing to take this on. I'm willing to challenge this if needed, but I'm not like feeling super friendly about it right now. Okay, so see that tail. So pretty high up, but what I will say is Jack here, his tail, his normal is high given his breed. Okay. So when his tail gets high, it's really high. Like it's kind of like, we don't know what that angle would be, but it's not even just like a 90-degree with his back. His tail will actually come onto his back a little bit. So, so again, it's important to know your dog and know what's normal. So here's just an overview of the quadrants. So again, we go loose versus stiff tail. So loose is a more affiliative, friendly, willing to make friends sort of tail. And then stiff and wagging means that they're engaged with what's going on. They're like locked into it. They're here for it. Okay. And then lowered is on the more anxious side, raised is on the more confident side. So again, it's a continuum because so they can fall anywhere in there. Okay. So that's all that we just went over, just in one graphic. So again, know your dog. Every tail's baseline is different. What looks like a high base and stiff tail on one dog can look very different on another. It's important to consider the full context of the situation because it might be that, you know, Jack in that last video, this wasn't the case for him this time, but he might have a really high tail and it might be flicking back and forth because he sees a squirrel, right? And he's a terrier.